Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today's class is an hour-long happy hips and hamstrings. So this is a mellow, slow flow that'll target the lower half of our body, working to release tightness and tension from the hips and the hamstrings. We will move mindfully through this practice, taking time to draw awareness to the breath. If you do have yoga blocks and a strap, I would recommend grabbing them for this class. But if this isn't available, you can always grab a sweat towel to use to extend the length of your hands, or a rolled up blanket to use to support yourself in some of the poses, or even a book. So we're going to get started today in an opening Shavasana. So coming onto the back, just taking these first few moments to really arrive on our mat, become present, and ground down throughout the body. So just taking time to notice how we're feeling today on our mat, noticing any emotions we may be experiencing, any tension and tightness throughout the body. And we'll just really begin to relax and let go. So unfurl the space between the eyebrows, softening the face, unclench the jaw, and allow the tongue to roll from the roof of the mouth. Shoulders are down and away from the ears, palms are to the earth for grounding. And we'll just take a moment to allow ourselves to become heavy and supported by our mat. Drawing our awareness to the breath, beginning to slow down that breath, breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Maybe taking this time to initiate Ujjayi breathing, which is inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose and making a slight constriction of the throat. So there's that beautiful ocean-like sound as you press the air from your lungs. Just allowing this Ujjayi breath to ignite that inner fire within the body so it begins to warm the body and soften the muscles, just using that breath. Just taking time here to focus on that breath. Really making that deep connection, as that breath is going to be our guide throughout our practice. We'll move into the pose using a breath and really sink down into a pose using the breath. Just taking a moment to set an intention for our practice. Thinking of something that is resonating with you. It could be a word, a phrase. And bringing that intention to the third eye awareness, the space between the eyebrows. Leaving that intention there throughout our practice. So whenever we need to check in, we can just come back and reach for that intention. Repeat it to ourselves a few times to come back to our mat. Really feeling relaxed here. Clearing out the mind and allowing ourselves to be present. Knowing for the next hour there's nowhere to be, nowhere to go besides here on our mat, working on our breath and working on our movement. Beginning to bring some movement back into the body. We'll wiggle fingers and toes, rotating wrists and ankles. We'll gently rock the head side to side. We'll inhale the arms up overhead, finding a nice full body stretch, and exhale to release. We're going to inhale the right knee into the chest for our wind reliever pose, rolling the ankle in one direction. Noticing any creaks, any pops, and then we'll rotate in the opposite direction. Really hugging that knee to the center of the chest. Foot is flexed. We're going to inhale to open the right knee out to the right side and exhale, bringing it over to the left side. Inhale to open that knee to the right and exhale, crossing it over to the left. Just finding some movement here, warming the body. Inhale to open and exhale to cross. We're going to inhale to open here and hold. Remembering to keep that foot flexed and engaged, protecting the knee. Just feeling that opening within the hip, beginning to create space within the body. Just focusing on our breath. We'll inhale back to center and exhale, crossing it over to the left side. So left hand comes to the outside of the right knee and our right arm could open to a half a T. The gaze is over that right shoulder. Remembering to keep the right foot flexed, finding our breath for in our half spinal twist. Shoulders stay grounded to the mat. And we'll come back to center. So we have an option here. If we have our strap or our sweat towel, we can bring it to the arch of that right foot, inhale with a bent knee, and exhale to extend. So finding a hamstring stretch here. So remembering to just be mindful, keeping a generous bend into the knee if we are feeling tight. We can take our peace fingers around the big toe if we could reach, or bring the hands behind the thigh, the calf, or up to the ankle if we don't have a strap. So we have our options here, but we're going to surrender to this pose, use our breath, and feel that hamstring lengthen here. Softening the face, trying not to hold any tension within the face, unclenching the jaw. And we'll release, extending that right foot down to meet the left, maybe shaking out that right leg, just feeling the sensations running through the body. And we'll inhale left knee into chest, finding that wind reliever pose, foot is flexed, and we'll begin to roll the ankle. Really hugging that knee into the chest, right leg is long and flexed, and then we'll rotate in the opposite direction. Finding center, we're going to find that movement. So inhale that left knee out to the left side to open, and exhale to cross over to the right. Inhale to open, and exhale to cross. We'll do that one more time here. Inhaling to open, and we'll exhale, cross, moving it over to the right side. We'll inhale to open and hold here. Left foot is flexed. Just breathing into that left side, allowing the breath to create a little space here as we open our hip. Coming back to center on an inhale, and we'll exhale over for our half spinal twist. So left knee comes over to the right side, and our right hand is on the left knee. Left arm is open to a half a T, and we do have the option to gaze over that left shoulder. We want to keep the shoulder blades grounded to our mat. Use that breath here. We'll come back to center, and we're going to find that hamstring stretch. So option to bring the strap around the arch of that left foot. Inhale with the bent knee, and exhale to extend. We also, if we don't have a strap or a towel, we can bring the hands behind the thigh, moving them up to the calf, the ankle, or we can always take the peace fingers around the big toe if we do have the space in the body today. And remembering, just be mindful of how this is feeling. If we are feeling tight in that hamstring, keep a generous bend into the knee as we work on lengthening our hamstring throughout the practice. Nice, deep, beautiful breaths. Just noticing if we're holding any tension within the face and releasing, unclenching the jaw. And we will release, extending that left leg down to meet the right and shaking out the leg, feeling any sensations throughout the body. And we're going to bring the feet onto the mat, planting the feet hip distance apart. We'll inhale, right ankle over left thigh for our reclined pigeon. Keeping the right foot flexed. We're going to hold here, just pressing on that right knee, just opening the hip for a breath. And we could choose to stay here, or bringing that left knee towards the chest. We'll interlace the fingers behind that left thigh, pulling the knee towards the body. Both feet are flexed here. Finding nice, big, beautiful breaths. And releasing on our last exhale, uncrossing that right ankle. We'll bring that over to the other side. So inhale, left knee up, or ankle up and over. And keeping the foot flexed, we'll just press gently on that left knee to open the hip, staying here for a breath. And if you wanted to go deeper, we could bring that right knee towards the chest, interlacing the fingers behind the right thigh. So keeping both feet flexed here. Finding some nice, deep, beautiful breaths. And we will release on our exhale. So bringing the feet down onto the mat, we'll bring the knees together, maybe just move them back and forth. And we're going to come into our reclined butterfly. So we're bringing our feet to touch and allowing the knees to fall out to opposite sides. So if we do have our blocks here and we find we are really tight and this might feel intense, we can bring our blocks and prop them underneath the knees, just giving our body that support in this pose. We're still just warming up here, so we might need that little support here as we work on opening the hips. So wherever we are, we're going to find our breath. We could bring the hands to the belly, down by the sides, or even extend them overhead. Sending all the breath to the hips, allowing the breath to relax the body and open the hips just a little more. Surrendering, closing down the eyes, softening the face. And when we're ready, we'll bring our hands to the thighs and help the knees back in together. Taking a moment to reset here, we'll bring the feet mat distance apart and allow the knees to fall into touch. Just finding a few breaths here. And coming back to center, we're going to bring the knees into the chest. Find a little rock side to side, massaging the low back. And whenever we're ready, we'll bring the hands behind the thighs, roll up and down the length of the mat 3 times until we roll up and over into Sukhasana. And in our Sukhasana, we'll just find a couple shoulder rolls in one direction and then roll the shoulders in the opposite direction. So from our Sukhasana, we're just going to bring that right foot and move it in front of the left just a little bit. We're going to keep that right foot flexed. And we're going to inhale, nice tall spine. And exhale, begin to fold over, walking the hands forward. So you're going to really feel this in the outer hip on the right side. So if you do have a block, you can feel free to place that underneath the forehead to help you relax in this pose. Or you could stack your fists one on top of the other and place your forehead on the fists. And we're just going to find that breath, allow that breath to get us through this pose because it is intense. So just focusing on that breath and letting everything else go, remembering we won't be here forever. And we're going to press up into the hands, walking them back towards the body. And we're going to switch. So bring that right foot behind. The left foot comes out in front, and maybe just moving it in front of the right foot 3 to 5 inches, keeping the foot flexed. We'll inhale with a nice tall spine and exhale, fold. Walking the hands forward, remembering we can grab a block or stack the fist to rest the forehead on. Just finding a little relaxation here as we open the hip, as we find our breath and work through this pose. And when you're ready, we'll press into the hands, walking them back towards the body. We're going to extend the legs out nice and long. We're going to find our forward fold. So our feet are flexing towards the face. We're taking any flesh out from underneath the sit bones. We'll inhale the hands up overhead and exhale, hinging at the hips, folding over. So the hands could reach for the ankles, for the feet. We can take our peace fingers around the bottoms or around the big toes. Or if we have that block and we wanted to go a little deeper, we can place the block beneath the feet and reach the hands for the block. So nice flat spine wherever we are. With every exhale, folding a little deeper. Feeling that nice stretch throughout the hamstrings, starting to lengthen the back of the legs. Nice big deep inhales and exhales. And we'll begin to walk the hands back towards the body, shaking out the backs of the legs here. We're going to come into our seated butterfly pose. So bringing the bottoms of the feet to touch, knees come out to opposite sides with the option to bring the blocks underneath the knees. So we can have the feet closer to the body or out further away. So option here, whatever feels best for you. We're going to inhale, the hands are wrapping around the feet, nice tall spine. And as we exhale, we'll fold forward, bringing the elbows into the legs to open the hips. Crown of the head reaches forward, finding our breath. And as we come up with our last breath, we're going to move into deer pose. So that right leg comes parallel with the short edge of our mat, and we're bringing the left leg in front and making it parallel with the long edge of our mat. Feet are flexed. Inhale the hands up and exhale, twist to the left. Right hand comes to the left knee and the left hand comes behind for a kickstand. Inhale and exhale, release, coming back to center, finding our fold. We'll inhale, lengthen, and exhale, walk the hands forward. Again, option to grab your block underneath the forehead or stacking the fists. Just finding that breath. Just one more inhale. And exhale. Pressing up into the hands. We're going to come back into that butterfly pose. So bottoms of the feet to touch. Knees fall out to opposite directions. We're going to wrap the hands around the feet. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale to fold. So just noticing if we could get a little deeper here in this pose. This is the third time we've been to a variation of our butterfly pose. So reaching the crown of the head forward with every exhale, folding a little deeper in this pose. Feeling that opening within the hip and sending our breath there, allowing that breath to help us create space within the body. And with our next exhale, coming back up, we're going to take that deer pose on the opposite side. So right foot is parallel, or right leg is parallel with the long edge of our mat, and the left leg is parallel with the short edge. Feet are flexed. Inhale, hands up, and exhale, twist left arm to right leg. Right hand is behind us as a kickstand. Nice tall spine here. Really twisting from the core. And we'll release on an exhale. We'll inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, fold. Finding our deep, beautiful breath here and completely relaxing and folding deeply into this pose. One last inhale. And exhale. We'll press up into our seated pose and windshield wipe back and forth just to release those poses. And when we're ready, we're going to come into our tabletop, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, nice flat back, reaching the crown of the head forward. Warming up the spine with our cat-cow, we'll inhale, bring the chest forward, lifting the chin, and exhale, rounding through the back, bringing the gaze to the knees. We'll inhale for cow, and exhale, press into the fingertips, rounding the spine, cat. 3 more rounds here, moving at your own time, following your own breath. One more inhale. And exhale. So when you're ready, coming back to tabletop, we're going to extend that right foot back, staying up onto the ball of the foot, finding a hamstring stretch. And from here, rocking back and forth. We'll do that 3 times here. We're going to inhale that right foot up and exhale, drop it over to the left side of the mat. Inhale, draw the crown of the head forward, and exhale, twist, peeking behind that left shoulder at the right foot. Finding a little side body stretch here. We'll release, come back to center, find the tabletop pose, and we'll bring that to the other side. So extend that left foot back up onto the ball of the foot. We'll rock back and forth here, just finding that hamstring stretch. We'll inhale the left foot up and exhale, drop it over to the right side. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, twist, bringing the gaze behind the right shoulder to the left foot. Stretching throughout the side body. With our next exhale, coming back to center, finding tabletop. We're going to inhale here, tuck the toes, and as we exhale, press back downward facing dog. Walking out our dog, finding that upside down V with the body. So we're pressing into the fingertips, palms are suctioning off the mat. We're not dumping our weight into the left or into the pinky side of our wrists. And from here, we're inhale that right leg up nice and high, 3-legged dog. And exhale, bend the knee, pointing the right toes to the left side of the room. So opening the hip here. We want equal weight in both hands. We're going to inhale to our three-legged dog and exhale, knee to chest, coming into our low lunge. So we're going to find a little flow here. Inhale, open the chest, low lunge. Exhale, straighten right leg, half split. Inhale, low lunge. And exhale to straighten, rolling onto the heel, flexing the toes. Inhale, pulling forward. And exhale back. Inhaling, pull forward. We're going to hold here so we can extend the fingertips to the sky, or we could keep them tented on either side of the foot. We're working the left hip forward, right hip back, tucking the tailbone, nice strong core. Feeling that opening within the hips. That right knee is stacking over right ankle. Last deep inhale, reaching the fingertips forward, and exhale, framing that foot. We're going to inhale back to half split and hold here. So rolling onto the heel, flexing the toes towards the face. We're going to inhale, pull the chest forward, flat back, and exhale, fold nose to knee. Breathing into that right side. Maybe with every exhale, bringing that nose just a little closer to our knee. We're going to inhale, pull forward, and bring the hands to the inside of that right foot, firing up the back leg, going up onto the ball of the left foot. We're going to bring the right hand to the right knee and open here in our lizard pose. So twisting and peeking behind that right shoulder. We're pressing into that right knee to open the hip just a little deeper. Finding a breath here. Before coming back to center, dropping that left knee, we're going to come into our lizard fold. So we do have an option to bring blocks underneath the forearms if we need them. And if we did want to go a little deeper here, we can roll to the outside edge of our right foot. Opening the knee, opening the hip, finding our breath. So you might feel a little frustrated here, but just focus on our breath. It'll help get through this pose. It'll help get through any emotions that may be arising. We're going to press into the hands and set up for Pigeon Pose. So heel toe that right foot over to the left wrist and drop the right knee to the right wrist. We can fold over here, or we can always grab that block if we're feeling tight and place it underneath the right glute. So supporting us in our pose, if we notice that that right glute is floating off the mat, the hip is floating off the mat, please put something underneath it just to support ourselves. So again, we could inhale to fold, inhale to pull forward, and exhale, fold. So just finding stillness here, finding relaxation, and just breathing. So our hips do hold a lot of our emotions, a lot of our stress and anxiety. So when we practice these hip opening poses and hamstring stretches, it tends to bring a lot of these emotions that we're holding on to up into our practice. So if you do notice this happening, just know that it's normal and just use your breath to get through. Just focusing on inhales and audible exhales. Coming back to that Ujjayi breath, using that audible breath to keep us present and anchored to our mat. The sound keeping us here in the moment. So we're going to press up into our hands, removing any props. We're going to bring that right knee back to meet the left, and we're going to find a few barrel rolls here just to release those poses. So nice big circles with the hips, really exaggerating this movement and feeling that release in the back of in the lower back as well. So we're going to rotate in the opposite direction. Nice big circles. And coming back to tabletop, and pressing into our child's pose. So we could bring our knees mat distance apart, big toes to touch, and press the hips back, forehead down, reaching the fingertips towards the top of the mat. Just a few grounding breaths here, really surrendering, coming back to that clear mind and that audible breath. So we're going to come back into our tabletop, tuck the toes, and press back to downward dog on an exhale. Maybe pedal out the feet just a few times before showing that same love to the opposite side. So inhale, left leg up nice and high, and exhale, bend the knee, pointing the left toes towards the right side. Opening the hip, even weight between both hands. We'll inhale, three-legged dog, and exhale, knee to chest, and into low lunge. Finding that little flow, inhale, pull forward, and exhale, low or half split. Inhale, low lunge, and exhale, back, half split. Inhale, low lunge, and exhale, straightening, half split. We're going to inhale here and holding our low lunge. So option to reach the fingertips towards the sky, or we could keep the fingertips tented on either side of the foot. So we're working the right hip forward, left hip back. Left knee stacks over left ankle. Nice strong core. Tuck that tailbone. Focus on the breath. So we're going to plant the hands on either side of that right or left foot. And as we inhale, we're coming into our half split. So straightening left knee. We're going to roll onto the heel, flex the toes towards the face. Inhale, pull yourself forward, half lift. And an exhale to fold. Finding your breath, feeling that nice deep stretch in our left hamstring. Focusing on the breath, we're going to come back, inhale. Plant the hands on the out or inside of that left foot. We're going to fire up that right leg. On the ball of the right foot, we're going to inhale here, put the left hand onto the right left knee. And as we exhale, open to the left side, twist, lizard. We're gazing behind the left shoulder. Inhale, and then exhale to release, planting the hands onto the inside of that left foot again. We're going to come down onto the right knee and fold over into lizard. So option to come onto the forearms. If we could bring our forehead down to the mat, do that. Or we could stack our forehead onto our fists or use a block. So again, just noticing what kind of emotions and feelings arise here as we work on opening our hip. And whenever you're ready, we'll come up into the hands and heel toe left foot over to right wrist. Left knee drops to the left wrist, and we're going to fold over into pigeon. Remember, we have our options to grab that block and place it underneath the left glute and the left hip if we need a little support and are feeling tight. And then we'll fold over, finding some relaxation, finding stillness, and we're just going to focus on that breath. Keeping that left foot flexed. Maybe taking a moment here to come back to your intention. Repeating that intention to yourself 3 times. And just one more deep inhale. And exhale. We'll press up into the hands, finding our tabletop, and we'll find those barrel rolls. Bringing the knees together and circling the hips. Nice big circles, exaggerating these movements to release those poses, release the low back. And then we'll roll and make circles in the opposite direction. Coming back to our tabletop, we're going to tuck the toes and exhale, downward facing dog. So we're going to inhale, lift the heels up, and exhale, drop the heels over to the right, point the toes to the left. We'll inhale back to center, lifting the heels, and exhale, drop the heels to the left, toes to the right. Doing this one more time, we're going to inhale to center, and exhale, drop the heels to the right, toes to the left. Inhale, center, and exhale over to the other side. We're going to come back to center, and with our inhale, lift right leg up, and exhale, plant it between the hands, runner's lunge. Inhale up for crescent lunge. And exhale, plant the hands, extend the leg back, extended pyramid. Inhale, runner's lunge. Exhale, up, crescent lunge. Inhale, plant the hands. Exhale, straighten the foot, extended pyramid. Inhale, runner's lunge. Exhale, up, crescent. Inhale, plant the hands. And exhale, straighten the leg. We'll inhale, pull forward, half lift. And exhale, nose to knee, holding here an extended pyramid pose. Finding a few breaths. So we're going to inhale, pull forward in our runner's lunge, setting up for standing split. So grounding down into that right foot. We're going to begin to shift forward, and as we exhale, lift that left leg up nice and high for our standing split. So right leg is nice and long. And as we exhale, we're trying to bring that nose a little closer to the knee. We want to keep our hips squaring to the mat and squeezing the glute to lift. We'll inhale and exhale, drop that left foot down to meet the right foot. Finding ragdoll here. Folding over, swaying side to side, grabbing opposite elbows. So we're going to plant the hands here and bring our peace fingers around the big toes. Pressing the thumbs into the big toenail. We're going to inhale, pull forward, half lift. And as we exhale, we're going to fold, bringing the nose towards the knees. And we're going to splay the elbows out. So pulling the body towards the legs with the arms. Just feeling that lengthening throughout the back body. And we'll release. We'll inhale for a half lift, flat back. And exhale to fold. We're going to step that right foot back into our runner's lunge on the left side. We're going to inhale up for crescent lunge. Exhale, fold, planting the hands. We'll inhale back for our extended pyramid and exhale, runner's lunge. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, frame the foot, runner's lunge, and press back into extended pyramid. Inhale, pull forward. Exhale, lift up. We're going to inhale, frame the foot, and exhale, straighten out, extended pyramid. Holding here, we're going to inhale, pull forward, and then exhale, fold. Bringing that nose to the knee. Keeping a micro bend into that left knee. Just folding over here, feeling length in the back of the legs. We're coming back into that runner's lunge on an inhale and coming right into our standing split. So shifting the weight into that left foot. We'll extend the right foot towards the sky, squeezing the right glute and keeping the hips squared. Inhaling here and exhale, release the right foot to meet the left. heel toeing the feet out mat distance apart. We'll find a nice little wide-legged forward fold here with an option to grab opposite elbows, finding that ragdoll again just to release the back and the back of the neck. You could nod the head yes, shake the head no, sway side to side. Just do whatever feels good for your body. And we're going to plant the hands onto the mat and begin to come down into our Yogi Squat. So hands to heart center, squatting the bum down. We're going to use the elbows to open the hips. We want to keep the feet planted completely onto the mat. Our back is nice and flat, reaching the crown of the head up towards the sky. We don't want to round throughout the shoulders or back. So nice, the shoulders are back. There's lots of room for the neck. And we'll find our breath here. Option to bring a block underneath the bum if we need. And releasing here, we'll plant the hands, extend the legs, finding our wide-legged forward fold. And when we are ready, we'll step back into our downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, right leg up nice and high, and exhale, bring the foot between the hands, dropping the left foot parallel with the short edge of our mat. The right heel lines up with the arch of the left foot for our warrior two. Deep bend into the knee, extending the arms out to opposite sides. So moving into Trikanasana or triangle pose, we're going to extend that right leg nice and straight. Inhale, pull the body forward, and exhale, windmill the arms down, lifting that left fingertips towards the sky. We want to have that nice lift throughout the upper body so we're not dumping the weight into that right hand. And chest is opening to the left side, and we could bring our gaze up to the thumb. So using the core coming back up, we're going to step that left foot in just a little bit and point the left toes towards the left corner of the mat, squaring the hips and chest forward. We'll inhale, lengthen the spine, and then we'll exhale to fold into pyramid pose. Hands come to either side of that right foot, and the nose comes towards the knee. Keeping the back nice and flat. We do have an option here to put our blocks on either side of that right foot if we need. And with every exhale, folding just a little deeper into our pose. And we'll step that left foot in to meet the right, forward fold. Swaying the hips, releasing here. We'll inhale for a half lift and exhale, fold, planting the hands, stepping back into our downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, float that left leg up nice and high. And exhale, bring the foot between the hands, dropping the right foot parallel with the short edge of the mat, coming up for warrior two. Deep bend into the left knee. Shoulders are over the hips, squeezing the shoulder blades, reaching the fingertips for opposite corners of the room. We're going to straighten out through that left leg. We're going to inhale, pull the body forward, and exhale, windmill the arms down for our Trikanasana pose. So opening the chest towards the right side, right fingertips reach for the earth, and we can bring the gaze up to that right thumb. Opening the chest and keeping that lift in the upper body so we're not dumping our weight into the left hand. Finding a few breaths. Using the core, we'll come back up and into our standing position. We'll hop that right foot in just a little bit, toes pointed to the right side of the mat. We're going to inhale, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, fold into pyramid pose. So our hips are squaring towards the top of the mat. And with every exhale, we're trying to get that nose just a little closer towards the knee. Want to keep our spine nice and flat without rounding the back and bringing the shoulders towards the ears. So we want to keep space for the neck. Looking to the top of the mat, we'll step the right foot in to meet the left and sway the hips side to side in our fold just to release. We're going to inhale for a half lift, flat back, and exhale to fold. We're going to inhale, sweep the arms up, gaze looks up, and exhale, hands to heart center. So from here, we're stepping that right foot back to the back of the mat, pointing the toes to the long edge of the mat. We're going to find a forward fold. So inhale, hands to the hips, lengthening the spine. And as we exhale, we're hinging at the hips and folding forward. So the hands could come between the feet or walk them back just a little further to go a little deeper. We're trying to get those hips in line with the ankles, and we're reaching the crown of the head towards the earth. We'll find our breath here. With every exhale, bringing the crown of the head a little closer to the earth as we go a little deeper with that breath. So we're going to walk the hands forward. Bring the left hand underneath the face. We're going to inhale, sweep that right hand up and over for a twist, bringing the gaze in line with the thumb. We're going to drop that right hand underneath the face. Inhale to open to the other side. Releasing, coming back to center. We're going to walk the hands over to that right foot and bring the forehead towards the right shin. And we're going to walk the hands over to the left side. We're going to inhale here and exhale, bring the forehead to the left shin. Coming back to center, we're going to begin to bend into the left knee, walking the hands over to the left side and rolling onto the heel of the right foot for a side lunge, pointing the right toes towards the face. And from here, if it's comfortable, we can fold down onto our forearms. Coming back up, we'll walk the hands over to the right leg, bending in the right knee, rolling onto the heel of the left foot, and coming down onto the forearms if it's achievable for you in your practice today. Coming back to center, we'll find that forward fold, bringing the hands to the hips. We're going to inhale for a half lift and exhale up to standing. Facing the top of the mat, we'll come to Tadasana and flow down. So inhale the hands up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, swan dive down. Inhale for a half lift. Exhale, fold, plant the hands, step back into our downward facing dog. And we'll come down onto our bum. So separating the legs out nice and wide, taking any flesh out from underneath the sit bones. We're going to bring that left foot to the inside of the right thigh. Right foot is flexing towards the face. We're going to turn the body so it faces out over that right knee. We're going to inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Walking the hands towards that right foot and trying to get the forehead down to the knee for head to knee pose. A nice flat back with every exhale, folding a little deeper and remembering to keep that right foot flexed. So you do have an option to grab your strap or towel and loop it around the arch of that right foot. And find one more deep breath in. And exhale, walk the hands back towards the body. So bringing that left foot out again, nice and wide. We're going to bring the right foot in to the inside of the left thigh. Square the chest over that extended left foot. We'll inhale, lengthen, and exhale, walk the hands and fold over, reaching the hands to either side of the leg, the ankle, peace finger around the big toe, or we can always use our strap or towel to extend the length of the arms and reach around the foot. Remembering with every exhale, we're trying to fold just a little deeper. So we're breathing into that low back. And as we release the air from the low back, we're folding a little deeper into this pose. Walking the hands back. We're going to extend that right foot out again. So nice wide angle pose here. And we're going to come into our dragonfly. So flexing the toes towards the face. We're going to inhale the hands up overhead. And exhale, hinge at the hips with our arms nice and long. Folding over and coming down either to the mat or to a block. So it depends on the space that you have within the body today. You can fold the arms on top of a block and bring the forehead down onto the arms. You could bring your forehead right directly to the block. Or if you do have the space, you can fold down and bring the forehead to the mat. But wherever we are, we're finding our breath, breathing into the hips and thighs, breathing into the lower back, and folding a little deeper with those exhales. Taking a couple more breaths here in this pose. And one last inhale. And exhale, walk the hands back towards the body and bring the knees towards the chest and rock them side to side, just a windshield wiper pose. So our next pose we're going to come into is our fire log pose. So we're taking our right shin and making it parallel with the long edge of our mat. And we're going to take our left foot and place it onto that right knee. The left knee comes down onto the right foot. But if that isn't achievable, we can always grab a block and place it underneath the left knee. Or we could even take our two blocks, one underneath the left foot and the other underneath the left knee. It all depends on the space that you have within the body today. So wherever you are, you can stay here with the spine nice and long. Or if you wanted to go a little deeper, begin to walk the hands forward. So we are keeping both feet flexed here. The left knee is stacked on top of the right ankle. The left foot is stacked on top of the right knee. So this should be very intense for the hips. So remember to use your breath and just try to focus on the inhales and exhales. Trying to find stillness, try not to fidget. Just completely surrender to this pose. Last breath here, inhale. And we'll exhale to release, coming back, finding a windshield wipe back and forth before we bring that onto the other side. So we're going to bring the left shin down, parallel with the short edge or the long edge of the mat, whatever side you are sitting on. And we're going to bring that right foot on top of the left knee. Right knee comes on top of the left foot. So again, we have our options if we want to use our blocks. We're keeping the feet flexed, and if we can, if it's not too intense, beginning to walk the hands forward to fold. Using that deep, beautiful breath here. Just taking a couple more breaths here in this pose, inhaling and exhaling. Take one last inhale. And exhale, release, finding a windshield wipe back and forth just to release. And when you're ready, coming down onto the back, we're going to inhale, bring the knees into the chest, big toes to touch, reaching for the insides of the feet. And as we exhale, kicking the heels towards the sky as we pull the knees down towards the ground and into our armpits. So creating that resistance within the hips and creating that opening. We're keeping the feet flexed, and there's option to find a rock side to side here if it feels okay. And we'll find 3 more big belly breaths here in our happy baby. And after that last exhale, bringing the knees into the chest, we'll wrap our hands around the shins, find a gentle rock side to side, giving ourselves a hug, thanking ourselves for rolling out our mat today, and for practicing, and for dedicating this time to ourselves. So when we are ready, we're going to extend the feet down the length of the mat and find our closing Shavasana. So just ending our practice the same way that we started, allowing the feet to fall out to opposite sides, falling open how they naturally fall. Arms are down by the sides, palms could face the sky for energy. Unclench the face, unfurl the eyebrows, allowing the tongue to fall from the roof of the mouth. Just really allowing yourself to be supported by your mat. Coming back to that natural breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Releasing any hold within the body, within the muscles. Taking a moment to just notice how we are feeling. Noticing any space that we may have created within the body, within the mind. Noticing any stress, any tension that we released. And feeling free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you need today. And remembering, if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for all the latest updates on all content and videos and classes being uploaded. So you can feel free to stay here or begin to awaken the body, wiggling fingers and toes, rotating wrists and ankles. We'll inhale the arms up overhead, nice deep stretch, and exhale knees to chest. From here, we'll roll over onto our favorite side in a fetal position. And press up and meet in Sukhasana, hands at heart center. We're going to inhale the arms up overhead, finding a nice tall spine, reaching the fingertips up towards the sky. And we'll exhale, hands to heart center, bowing forward. Thank you all for tuning into my class. May the sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the light within you guide you on. Namaste.